Every season is spooky season in our book.
So settle in and prepare to be shook. You are listening to Shook, a comedic podcast about all things paranormal and unexplained.
I'm Santa.
Hey, everybody, I'm Amanda.
Fun fact. Today, as we're recording this, it is Amanda's birthday. Happy birthday, Queen!
Yay! Thank you, Santa. Just getting older one day
That's
at a
my
time.
fun fact. Other than the fact that we had so much fun this past weekend.
We sure did. We were reunited and it was fantastic. I got to see the studio for the first time, and our friend Stephanie hosted a wonderful party. We had basically, it was a Twilight themed party where we made charcuterie boards. Stephanie made one that was a sampler of chicken nuggets, my fave. It was so good. And I just did basic bitch cheese and meat, adult Lunchables. Well, yes, Santa makes an incredible mocktail. So holler at your
Yes,
girl.
it was. If anyone wants to know, it has a really dumb name that only I thought was funny, pretty much, and it's called Supermassive Blackberry Hole. Because Amanda loves Muse, and Muse is featured in the first Twilight movie during the vampire baseball scene with the song Supermassive Black Hole, and the cocktail was very much featuring Blackberry. That's all. I had to explain.
It sure was.
Had to explain
and it was
the origin story.
It was great.
Of that.
I'll probably post a reel of the whole party
Yes.
at some point, but basically Santa made her supermassive blackberry hole drink as well as her
I
world
did.
famous
I made the
spaghetti.
spaghetti that I just won't stop talking about, and I'm making it tonight too. Yeah.
Jelly. Yeah, but we watched Twilight. We watched, I think, the first two that night, and Stephanie put together a bingo-esque game where anytime one of the cringe moments happens, you circle it, and then I think Emily, my sister, she got bingo first. But I was right on her heels. I was like, bingo!
Emily kept saying, better
right as she said it. We looked up the lyrics because we can't understand what Robert Pattinson's saying in that song, but apparently he says bit of shade.
Bit of shade.
Bit of shade. Yeah, bit of shade, like, oh, okay, say less. But he's like, I will wrap you in my
It's so excessive what he does in that song.
Know.
So excessive and so difficult to understand.
Yeah, 100%. But it was a great time. After you left, Emily, Stephanie, and I watched Skinamarink, which Stephanie hated it. I think Emily kind of couldn't get into it too. It's a very art house type film. It was the guy's first film he ever did, and I have mad respect for him because the movie wasn't really about telling a chronological story. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it's basically meant to fill you with an unending state of dread. There is lots of instances where there is no dialogue or anything. There's just cartoons playing in the background and a bunch of static shots, and it's very difficult to see. And it's unsettling. I will give him credit for that. I have my own theory about what the movie was actually about, but I'm not going to say it because I'm not going to spoil anyone.
I'm on the fence about watching it because Stephanie was like, don't watch it, it's terrible. And then you were like, you should watch it. So I don't know. If I'm ever in the mood for dread, for that type of dread, I will make sure I took my Wellbutrin that day, and then I'll pop it on.
If you're in a weird headspace going into it, it might make you spiral. Just because I can't really say anything without spoiling it, but it's on Shudder if anybody has Shudder. It's a great streaming platform, not sponsored.
Would
but
love to be sponsored.
Oh, but Santa, I have to shout out the
Oh,
gifts that Santa
yeah! Oh
got
my
for me for my
god.
birthday. Okay, so I'm first and foremost totally here for this. She got me this amazing book. It is called Chasing American Monsters. It has over 250 creatures, cryptids, and hairy beasts. And it's by Jason Offutt. I hope I didn't butcher your name, Jason. But yeah, I can't wait because this is all the
Amanda's
tea
new
that I
ghost
need.
book.
And then she also I can't wait. And then she also got me this amazing lapidolite.
Blue
And forgive
calcite.
me, did you say this blue calcite? Okay. Really can't wait to read this book. It's even got illustrations. Pure Nightmare Fuel. This is the East River Monster, which I think I may have heard of. I'm sure the Moth Boys know all about that guy, but I'm telling you, there's cryptids from like every state, and I can't wait. I can't wait. But I won't be doing any cryptids today. Perhaps in the next couple episodes, I will. This episode, we're doing another Shook
Yes, so this is our third
Stories.
Shook Stories, right?
It is. And please keep sending your ghost stories. And um, we're getting down to the nitty gritty. And like we said before, we want to keep doing these. So come on down with your spooky
Please send them.
shenanigans.
Come on.
Come on. All right. Well, I guess I'll kick it off. Let's see. So, our first shook story of the evening comes from my friend Jess from high school. Hey,
Jessica.
Jessica. Jessica. She says, she says, okay, so this had me shook. I've grown up knowing the story passed down from my dad. My dad was around 8, and his uncle was in the USA's Coordinated Fight Club. Badass. Well, his mom, my grandma, is cleaning the house and she's making the beds when she hears the corded cell phone ring. She answers and hears a soft voice saying, "It's okay. I'm okay. I'll see you soon." Mimi thinks it's someone being silly and goes on to be a decent housewife. I think that might be the title, A Decent Housewife. When she goes back into the guest room, she sees someone is laid on the freshly made bed and questions my dad and Gran, who alibi one another. 2 hours later, she gets another call that tells her that, oh gosh, her brother was killed in battle that morning. William's legend is that Uncle Ed had called to say goodbye and then lay to rest a bit before his journey to the beyond. And she, after that sad ass story, she follows it with, ooh. Keep Keep on shaking us, ladies. I love it. P.S. GBO. Hell yeah, go Vols. Can't wait for football season
GBO.
already. Yeah, stands for Go Big
Oh, I didn't
Orange.
know. Okay.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
It's the slang. There's that and VFL, which stands for
Okay.
Vol for Life. But yeah, wow. That is definitely a visitation, 100%. And I think it's really sweet that he stopped on by and said goodbye to
He stopped
everybody.
by to say
I love
Jessica.
that.
Sorry. I'm done.
Jessica. I love you, Jess, and I miss you. Let's hang out
Thank you,
soon. Okay, bye.
Jessica. Well, I
What
got a
you
couple
got?
stories myself. Um, oh my
Ooh.
gosh. So the first one that I have that has been bestowed upon me is from Stephanie. And you might remember Stephanie as being the lovely creator of our Shook podcast tumblers. Amanda and I both have one. She made them with our names on them, and they are amazing. And we use them on the regular. I'm pretty sure Amanda
Yes.
has hers with her right now. She does
L-
almost every episode.
Literally every day.
So, this is Stephanie's story. Okay, so this had me shook. I was listening last night about someone's dream with her sister on your podcast and totally thought about a dream I had. Long story short, who are we kidding? I never tell short stories. So, when I was 22, my brother Evan passed away tragically from a motorcycle accident. It was the worst thing that I've ever experienced. I always had signs from him that he was with me, from crows and music. He would change my radio all the time to songs that were his jam. Being a guitarist all his life, he always drove me nuts with his music. It was super loud and super heavy metal. Not my jam. And all, not my jam. We were deeply connected to each other, almost like twins, being that we looked identical and everyone always assumed we were twins. A few years after his passing, my mom finally succumbed to her breast cancer and was taken to hospice. I was a few months pregnant with my daughter, and it should have been the happiest time in my life. I remember having to take the videos of my sonograms to her in the hospital and hospice center. It was gut wrenching, and everyone was concerned about me losing the baby because of how hard it was going every day to the hospice center. Mom did not want to go, so she fought the dying process up until the very end. 10 brutally grueling days. One night, I was beyond exhausted and depressed and went to bed as soon as I got home from the hospice center. The next thing I knew, I was sitting in the clouds with Evan. He held my hand and we talked for what seemed like hours. I've never in my life felt such a sense of peace, as if I myself was in heaven. After an all night gab session, the sun began to rise, and he wrapped his arm around me as we sat and watched it together, feeling the warmest sense of peace and tranquility. Without looking at me, he said, I know you have already been through hell, but today is the day that I'm bringing Mom home. I need you to know that it will all be okay, and she will still be just as much with you as I am. He then told me I had to get our baby brother up to see her this morning so Mom knew he would be okay too. I began sobbing and saying I understood, even though I didn't want it to happen. My brother and my mom were the only two people who had been a constant in my life since the day I was born. The bond the three of us had was unlike any bond I shared with another human being. Evan told me he had to go now, and I had to go back to living. I begged him not to leave me, and I just remember then seeing nothing but light and hearing him say, I am always with you. Please stay strong. And I woke in my bed with my pillow covered in tears, screaming out to him to come back. I got up and drove to my mom's house, woke my little brother up, and told him he had no more choice. He was going to see our mom today and assure her that he would be okay. He was not happy with me, but finally conceded. I remember going to hospice, and when he arrived, I asked everyone to leave us alone with Mom. We curled up beside her and told her how much we loved her. She couldn't speak and wasn't coherent, but we had to say our piece. I made my little brother promise that he would keep going and he would get through this. I just knew in my heart that if we assured her we would be okay, she would go. That night, I got home late and jumped in the shower. After a few minutes, I felt a huge gust of wind, no windows in the bathroom, and I instantly smelled my mom and heard her say, I'm gone now, but everything will be okay. Stay strong, and I will always be here. I began screaming and crying, and my husband rushed in. I told him Mom was gone, and he replied, No, she isn't. Nobody has called. And before he finished, my cell phone was ringing. My aunt told me Mom had just passed a few minutes prior, and that they all felt her leave, and the wind chimes all started making music in the room. The weirdest part was I never told a soul about what I experienced on the 1 year anniversary of her passing. My little brother and I got together and had a few drinks. He then shared with me that he knew Mom was with us because the moment she died, she had come to him. And he said he could smell her, and it felt like a cool breeze all over him. She said, I'm gone now, but everything will be okay. Stay strong, and I will always be here. Same exact words I heard and couldn't ever forget. Now, between Evan coming to me and my baby brother and I hearing the exact same thing, I know for a fact that they will always be with us. It was then I finally just knew there is life beyond death. Oh my God, Steph.
Dang, that
Stephanie, that
hurts.
was a beautiful story. And I was struggling not to cry. And I'm so sorry that you lost your brother Evan
Yeah.
and your mother so close apart, it seems like. Uh, and while
Seriously.
you were trying to just get through your pregnancy, that is sounds like a nightmare, but it's really great that Evan came to visit you during that. I hope it gave you some peace, and I hope from that point on you had an easier time with your pregnancy. I'm sure your daughter is adorable.
So sorry for your loss, Stephanie. That's like, oh, yeah, that was a gorgeous story. And the part that really got me was that she knew right before she got the phone call that she was gone. That's wow.
It's such a real thing though. Like you can feel that sometimes. Like
Yeah.
and it I'm glad that hers was a little more peaceful and she had like that communication as part of it, you know? And it wasn't just like a
Yeah.
confusing, you know, like confusing kind of thing.
Right. Yeah. Dang, Stephanie, you got us all
We're
emotional.
crying in the stew, Stephanie.
Crying in the
Once
stew yet
again, we're crying in the
again.
stew. Well, Hunty,
Dang.
you got a palate cleanser or what?
I sure do. This one actually comes from Reddit. I had made a post asking for some stories, and the folks delivered. This one is from username LexLuther551. They say, I have a lot of stories, but I'll only write the most interesting one. Back in 2017, I moved in with my dad and my stepmom. The house they lived in was really old, I think built in the early 1900s. A lot of stuff would happen in this house. I took videos of my baby sister, and she would be surrounded by orbs all over the place. There was one time where my stepmom and I were watching TV, and we were the only ones at home at the moment, and we heard a sink turn on in the kitchen. This wasn't uncommon, so we just ignored it. About 10 to 15 minutes later, we heard something drop in the kitchen, like a plate or a Tupperware or something. I forget. She went in to check, had to turn on the lights because it was late at night, and like I said, we were the only ones home. I had asked if she had left it on the edge, but she said no. It was in the middle of the counter. So it wouldn't have just fallen unless someone intentionally knocked it off the counter. Given all the activity in the house, we had a team of ghost investigators come to check it out. They were family friends, so they offered. It was three of the ghost investigators, me, and my stepmom. Everyone else had to leave, so not to interfere with the investigation. We turned off the lights in the house and made our way to the master bedroom. As we're in there, nothing crazy is happening. The more sensitive one on the team mentioned they felt roughly maybe 12 spirits in the room with us. Damn, cheaper by the dozen. Um,
No. Not
Speaking of which, can we talk about how expensive eggs are right
I don't
now?
buy eggs, so I don't really know, but I've been hearing the streets talk about it. Yes.
The streets be talking about it. Yeah, they are not cheaper by the dozen. um, all right, back to the story. Sorry. A little after she said that, we heard boot footsteps in the hallway. Unmistakable. Keep in mind, nobody was home but us. Even afterwards, we had asked the other family members that lived there if they had come back to grab anything, and they said no. They were all maybe 15 to 20 minutes away at a local restaurant. Sometime later, before we moved to the living room and everything was quiet, there was a tap on the dresser. This could be explained away as just the wood settling, right? Except one of the investigators asked, Could you do that again for me? No one moved. I saw her and she didn't move or anything, but it happened again. Once we moved to the living room, this was the last part of the investigation. Everyone sat down on the couch for a while, just silent. They did ask a few questions throughout the investigation, but I never found out if they heard anything. While sitting on the couch, there was no one to my right, by the way, but the way the couch was set up was kind of like a U, how it wraps around like that. So no one was to my right, but there were people to my left and in front of me, across the other side of the coffee table in the center. Behind me was the door to the backyard. At one point, however, I felt like someone was sitting next to me. I felt a presence, but I chalked it up to some paranoia and didn't mention it. However, at the end of the session, when we all turned the lights on, the investigator who had been sitting across from me asked if I had felt anything next to me during that time. He said halfway through the living room session, he couldn't see the door to the backyard anymore, almost as if a figure was blocking it. But he could see me, so he knew it wasn't me. And that was crazy. Okay, so maybe a shadow figure was blocking the door? That's what it's gotta be. If you feel a presence and you can't see anything and then suddenly your view to the window that you were looking through is like blacked out, I mean, it's giving shadow person,
Probably.
right? Gotta be a shadow
Yeah,
figure or
that's
something.
that house is haunted as shit. It sounds like. So it could be anything. Uh, remember that movie
Who are you gonna
13
call?
Ghosts? It could have been this
Yes.
house, but no, it's only 12. So you're out. I don't know.
It really is haunted as shit. I mean, if you can sense 12 people in the room, first and foremost, ew, that's too
Yeah.
many people. If they want to do the extra, make it 13,
Mm-hmm.
that's my lucky number, so that works.
It's like, how many bathrooms y'all
But
got? That's too many
actually,
people. Be fighting for the bathroom.
if you end up not
Oh, I
say that
was just
again.
saying they'd be fighting for the bathroom. But that's dumb because they're ghosts.
Ghosts don't take a shit.
Yeah, it just goes into the ether. Yeah.
That's right, out into the ether. So, yeah, it sounds like you got at least a dozen ghosts in the house. One of them might be a shadow person.
I would move. I believe I would sell the house. I would renovate it within an inch of its life and then sell it and don't mention anything. Just kidding, that's not nice. You should actually mention that it's haunted because some people actually want to move into a haunted house. So that could be a great selling point for some people, but it would not be nice to not disclose. But you should sell the house
Absolutely.
or get somebody to like I don't know, cleanse the house, cleanse the space, make peace with the
I
entities
have an idea.
or burn it
Burn it with
down.
fire.
Whatever you're comfortable with.
I mean, this was, yeah, I'm assuming they still live there because this is 2017, which feels like it was just yesterday. So yesterday. It's giving Hillary Duff so yesterday. Yeah, if you still live there, please get out.
Get out.
Get out of there. What you got
I've
next
got a
up?
Reddit story too. And it's from
Yay.
that flamingo lady. So that flamingo lady said, my husband's parents took care of his grandma when grandpa passed. She had dementia and neuropathy in her feet. She would often stumble going down the hallway and bump into the wall. She went downhill quick and passed November 1st, 2019. Fast forward to last year in April. My husband and I are purchasing his parents' house from them, and we've moved in. A month or so goes by, and I finally get around to hanging my pictures and paintings. A few days go by, and I notice some are super crooked or fallen to the floor. I figured it was my kids and just told them to be careful with the pictures and figured that was that. Then it happened when I was home alone. I rationalize it as not having the nail far out enough to hang, so I adjusted the nail and straightened the pictures around it. It kept happening about 4 or 5 times over the course of 2 weeks. One day when I was painting, my studio is in Grandma's room, I felt a warmth pass me. Then I hear a shuffle and smack in the hallway. I head out there and see a painting on the floor, and the one next to it is crooked. I got a feeling it was Grandma and told her it's okay if she visits us, but please stop knocking my pictures off the wall. They've only fallen 2 times since then, but I'll still find them crooked ever so often. That is fun. I can't tell if Grandma's trying to be shady, though, or if she's just playing. She's like, I don't like this. I don't like your little paintings covering up my wall. Or I don't know. I'm sure it's not like that. But at first, when I was reading it, I thought it was shade. But yeah,
Oh, God.
I'm glad that Grandma was receptive to you asking her to please stop making messes in the hallway. And maybe she just bumps into him on accident. Maybe it's not shade. Maybe it's not that she hates your paintings.
Yeah.
Maybe she just bumps into him. She
She
might
could
just
just
be
be clumsy. Who
clumsy.
knows?
But yeah, that's all of our shook
But yeah,
stories this week. We have some more that we will do for future shook stories episodes.
we sure will.
Yeah, and
Don't you
this is a
forget
little bit
it.
of a shorter episode because, like I said at the beginning, it's Amanda's birthday today and she has stuff to do.
I have adult woman things to do, like
Mm-hmm.
go to a dinner reservation with my
Yeah,
husband.
Valentine's Day / birthday moment.
Taco
Y'all are
Bell?
not going to Taco Bell.
Right. I was just going to say, Taco Bell,
Okay, I was like,
you're
please,
out.
God.
Tonight, we're not doing it.
Don't tell me that's where you're going. Because I will put a stop to that real quick.
No. Yeah. We're gonna do Italian tonight. My favorite Italian restaurant around here is closed on
Mm-hmm.
Mondays, unfortunately. So we're going with a backup plan, but it's
I
better than
know it
Olive
is.
Garden, I'll tell you that.
I know it is. Well, Hunty, before
Mm-hmm.
you go, I did want to do a little birthday surprise. A little. It's
Oh my
just
God,
something so we can have a
please.
little surprise. Um. So remember
Let's see
last
it.
episode, I unveiled a Squishmallows Mystery Squad. Well, I went back to the
Yes.
Kroger and I got me another one, Bob. And I just wanted to open it again because I think this might be my favorite thing to do ever is to open these. So we can just real quick get a little surprise. So I'm going to open it and make lots of noise in the process. In the process. All right. What will it be this time? It's one that I don't already have. Cutie.
Excellent. Oh my
Look,
gosh,
it's a
that's so
cutie.
cute.
Aw. It's a
Oh,
claw game. Look, it's an arcade claw game. With the
that
claw and the
is
joystick.
amazing.
Valentine's version.
I love it. Do you remember the arcade that we went to last
Yes, at
year
the
for Stephanie's birthday?
Opry Land
Yeah.
Resort.
Old Opryland Hotel. Yeah.
Mwah.
Yeah. Oh my
They're
God, they're besties for the
besties.
resties. We love to
And
see
I
it.
love them. Pepper's new toys. Um, but yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your birthday. Low key sorry that you had to spend it doing
Thank you, Queen.
business.
Here's the thing. I enjoy this, and if I didn't, I wouldn't be
Yeah.
doing it. So, doesn't matter what day it is. Yeah, we were at we were at Stephanie's house having a gay old time. Stephanie was serving
Oh,
up
it
some
was so
birthday
good.
cake that had Steve
Yes.
Harvey's face on it.
It was
It was
so,
hilarious.
yeah.
And the whole time we're cutting up, it dawns on me. I'm like, wait a second. We haven't figured out our schedule for next week. So I was like, hey, Xana, when you want to record? She's like, I'm off on Monday. I said, that's great.
That's
I'll be
literally my
there.
only day off for this whole week.
Did anybody buy
No.
your Moldavite yet?
No, and I wish somebody would.
Yeah, so the call to action for this episode is please, for the love of God, please someone buy Santa's Moldavite. And also send us your ghost, alien, cryptid, etc.
Yeah.
stories. because we want
Please
them
send us some
for
more
more of these
stories. And please
episodes.
buy my Moldavite, because if somebody doesn't buy my Moldavite, I'm just going to start wearing it again and just like free,
Oh
just
no.
balls to the wall. Like,
You're just gonna be
yeah,
raw
I'm
dogging
thinking
life
about it. My
again. Don't do
Wellbutrin's
it.
prescription's out soon,
Girl,
so
don't
let's
do
just
it.
go all in. Let's just
Oh
fucking do it.
no.
I'm vaping again. I've been
Don't
drinking.
do it,
Like, let's just
girl. Don't
fucking
do it.
go. Um, I'm thinking about doing the Moldavite again though. I ought to not, but I'm already in
Nar.
this like self-destructive spiral. So like I'm thinking like let's do another rock bottom moment. And then cuz last time I had my rock bottom moment, I actually like really came up out of that.
You did. It was a come up. You basically were a
I
phoenix
did.
coming
I
up from the
did. And
ashes.
then something happened, so I don't know.
I
That
don't
being
even know, dude.
said, I want you to go have your birthday dinner and have fun, and I'm gonna go make my spaghetti. So we're both gonna be having Italian.
Oh, right before I let you go for good, I'm sure you've heard about all the UFO
Lord,
activity that's been going
yes.
on lately. Yeah, more on that at 11. We'll have to talk about that at another
Yeah,
time,
whenever we
but
get more
I just thought of
info,
it.
because it's saturated on the internet. The
Yeah.
people just telling us they shot down the objects in Alaska, Canada, Michigan, Montana. So like we know that, but we just don't know the information about like what it is
Yeah.
and everything. So I'm hoping that that will develop, and I'm hoping that it's the aliens coming to get me
Yeah.
and not aliens coming to kill us all. Um
Right. All I know is we want answers, answers,
you want
answers.
answers? We'll do our best to tell you.
I was going for ghost
Oh,
adventures just then.
sorry.
He says, we want answers, answers, answers. We have been working years to build our
Oh yeah.
credibility.
I need to watch more Ghost Adventures so that I can be on
Yeah,
the same page. Yeah,
the
it's just been so
same
long.
page.
But I know they're still on the same bullshit. As always.
Yep, sure are, but I can't get enough of it, so keep it
Hell
coming.
yeah.
All right, well, hell yeah. We love you guys so very much. Thank you for being a part of our club, I guess, our Shook
Mm-hmm.
Podcast Club. We wouldn't be doing this without the support of our lovely listeners, and we really just want to keep this
Yeah.
going as long as possible. So invite your friends to follow us. We have Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. But yeah, we couldn't do it without you guys. In fact, today we got notified that we reached
Hell
5,000
yeah.
downloads. And yeah, that's really exciting news for us. And, especially since we just started like
Yes.
6 months ago. So, and we're not even doing weekly episodes yet. Not yet. But if you want more content, tell your friends to follow us and join our little spooky club. And maybe we'll have 10,000 and
Yeah. Yeah,
beyond.
we'd love to get to the point where we can sustain weekly episodes, but of course we need to grow a lot more before we can realistically do that. So come on, and if you
Yeah.
want to also join our Patreon, that's a thing that would really help us too. The more people we get on there, the better. Once we hit
Mm-hmm.
50, we can start having merch as a perk, which we really, really want to start doing as soon
Mm-hmm.
as we can. So come on.
Come on. Yeah, Santa's got her cutting room floor, which is all of the stuff that gets cut out of the episode. Some of it's pretty funny. And we're also going to start posting some more, I guess, personal slash semi embarrassing
Yeah.
content.
It basically the cutting room floor stuff is pretty embarrassing
Yeah.
too. So if you want that type of
Yeah.
stuff, like which sometimes I just love watching a train wreck myself. So if you like that, cutting room floor is for you. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But anyway, that's
Happy
our show. Happy birthday to me. Gonna go get
birthday.
some Italian. Thank you. You're the best. Love you, Santa, and love you guys.
Love you,
We will see you
Queen.
next time.
Bye. Stay
Bye.
shook. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to Shook. New episodes of Shook drop every other Wednesday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, soon to be wherever you find your podcasts. Check out our show notes for more information on this week's episode, our social links, and more. Until next time, stay shook. Hey, do you have a personal paranormal encounter that you'd like to share with us? Visit our website, shookpodcast.com, to fill out our contact form. Or you can send us an email at shookparanormalpod@gmail.com.